Welcoming everybody back to Bear Bets as promised before we went to break. Joining us here, happy to have the head coach of the Iowa State Cyclones, Matt Campbell, ahead of the big Cy-Hawk game where a big noon kickoff will be Saturday, Iowa at Iowa State, a great rivalry that I hope people throughout the country can appreciate. And Coach, just a big macro thing about your program. For so long, you were the program, the up-and-comer, and all of a sudden, 2 conference title games in the last 5 years. That's some pretty lofty, there aren't very many teams that can say that. So how is that elevated, not only your program in terms of the players you're now able to get in, but just nationally the stature that this program now has?
Yeah, I think probably a little bit is it's probably been rewarding to be at one place now going on our 10th football season. And I think that's probably hard to find in college football. And, we've been so fortunate because we have such great people here. And when you talk about the people from our staff to our support staff, to now, really the retention of our players, it's really given us a chance to really stand for something in college football. And that's really been what we're most proud of. And, we really haven't wavered too far off of what's built our program. Great character, young men that stand and love the game of football, and obviously still understanding the value of excellence in the classroom. Our guys, we have a team GPA of right around a 3.4 GPA, and just really proud of who we are, what we're about. I think we continue to work really hard on our process of what it takes to consistently win week in and week out. And I think that's where the growth has really come over the last couple of years.
This is a game that's just predicated on physicality and head on head. How do you prepare your players for the physicality of the Cy-Hawk game?
Yeah, I think this year is unique. I think it's also unique that it's a huge rival game so early in the football season. And obviously 2 teams in different conferences, and you have this so early, and it means so much to our state and obviously both universities. But I think even this year probably helping a little bit where you had to play a really physical game out the gate, playing over in Ireland with K-State. I think it's kind of transitioned us into, what fall camp had to look like. Obviously, what that process of building that toughness, running the ball, stopping the run, playing great on, punt coverage and kick coverage, and obviously situational football. All those things had to have heightened awareness, just knowing what our early schedule looked like this year. And so I think this year unique because of, having your 2 biggest rival games right out of the gate of the early part of the season. I think it really tried to demand that intensity and certainly that awareness through fall camp and really through spring football.
Coach, let's talk quarterback. Rocco Beck, what does he allow you to do offensively that really makes him special and what you try to get out of him each and every week?
Yeah, I think, first of all, at the quarterback position, one of the great gifts when you have a guy that really knows who he is. And I think that's Rocco's greatest identity is he's curious. He's a relentless worker. He's always trying to perfect himself, and he's really not trying to be anybody else. He's just trying to be the absolute best version of Rocco that he can be. And I think when you have that, it fuels confidence in everybody in your football program. And then when you step out on Saturdays, it allows you to play a game where you can give Rocco the flexibility, whether it's in the running game or the passing game, to put you in the best positions, have confidence that he can make the critical plays in the critical moment. And, Rocco's worked really hard to earn the right to have that, really have that confidence and really have that success that he's been able to have so far. So, we're really appreciative. You got to have somebody that certainly has that characteristic of knowing who he is and not trying to be somebody else. And Rocco certainly stands for that in our football program.
One thing about your league, the Big 12, the balance of the league, the depth of the league is incredible. And because of that, it has resulted in a lot of close games for Iowa State over the last few years. How do you get the message across? Like when you lose a close game, you're doing everything right and you just happen to be on the wrong side of the coin flip. The resiliency of your players to bounce back from that. And in the last couple of years, it started to turn around where you're getting on the right side of those coin flips and obviously resulting in a couple of historic seasons. But so many close games, it seems that you guys have been involved in.
Yeah, I think, Chris, really over our last 9 years, it's where we've lived. You've lived in so many of those games. And when we've been at our best, we've had the opportunity to win those games. And, I still think it goes back to how you do everything in your program. And, I think we are relentless on the process. in January, February, March of perfecting yourself, how you come to work every day, what you look like in strength and conditioning, what you look like in nutrition, what you look like in academics, to spring practice and how critical fundamental growth is in your success. Still, those games are won in critical moments in the fundamentals and the detail, and then really springboarding into fall camp where you really grind away at the situational football, where situations, the middle 8, 2-minute drills, third down, fourth down, conversions in fourth and third down defense, winning in the red zone, all those things, they all matter. And the reality, the more we can have confidence and have success in those areas, then the more we've got the opportunity to make those one-score wins, make those one-score games become major wins for our football team.
I bet you love seeing that B-roll, Coach, of all those Iowa fans and surrender Cobra right there as that kick goes up. How important is special teams when you take on the Hawkeyes?
Yeah, well, I think you have to have a lot of respect for their special teams first and foremost. They've been tremendous for a number of years, and they've got great specialists, from the punter to the kicker to the returner. And the reality of it is, I think that we've grown immensely in those areas over the course of the last 4 to 5 years. And you got to do a great job. I mean, it can swing the game really fast, and the ability to be dynamic in those areas and the ability to make sure you don't get yourself beat in those areas are absolutely critical for your success in games like this.
Coach, I'm a former offensive lineman. I love to study the trenches. Obviously, a big part of what this matchup always is. Talk about Orange, your D tackle, your nose tackle against Jones. How important is that matchup to your success against the Iowa offense?
Well, I think it's critical. Again, you got a lot of respect for their offensive line, and obviously Coach Ferentz during his time has always had a tremendous offensive line, and the ability to be able to win in those areas for us, it's our defensive line, it's our linebackers, and obviously Dom is a huge piece of that. Dom is a guy that has grown into one of the better defensive linemen in the country, and he's got purpose, and obviously he's going against one of the best centers in the country, and so I think anytime you get those matchups, that's where you want to be, and you want to have the opportunity across the board to be able to be your best self. It's going to take great fundamental. It's going to take great technique if you want to have success against this offensive line.
Coach, before we let you go, I think a lot of people out there know that I've been an Iowa State supporter, backer for a while. Back in 2020 with my old show, saying that Iowa State is a sleeper to get to the college football playoff and win the Big 12. Took a lot of heat for that, but we came really close. I just want to show you my basement man cave wall at home. I've got 4 helmets on the wall. I got to give my wife the top billing with Notre Dame and the Steelers. Got to keep her happy. But I've got Miami, my alma mater, and Iowa State on that wall. So I just want to. That's how close the Iowa State program is to my heart. I love everything you guys stand for and represent. And you guys have had a really, really good run.
Well, Chris, we really appreciate it. And we know you believed in us when a lot of people didn't. And again, for us and for all those people that have believed in our football program, it's a great reward to step into this facility every day and know that we're going to do everything in our power to continue to make people believe in our football program and believe in the young men that play in our football program. So we're grateful for your support and certainly all those people that have supported us along the way.
Bear Bets full episodes drop twice a week right here on the Bear Bets YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to stay ahead of the odds, and let's celebrate all of our wins together.